Good morning. Welcome to Long Dogs and Firewood Logs. Got another day picking up some wood. It's kind of nice this morning, mid-August, but we've got 62 this morning. Had some rain yesterday afternoon. I don't know if you can hear the crickets and the aspen quaking in the background, but it's kind of peaceful out here. Going to be breaking up some red oak today. I'll show you a little more. So I've got a path pretty well started here where I've cut through some downed wood, and I'm making my way back into this area. I've gotten this log right here. It used to run all the way down. There's some rot in that trunk where it snapped off. So this is not much good for firewood. There's maybe a little in there, but it ran all the way up there. There was another dead red oak that was standing, and it blew down right through here. So now I've got another path where it was. Cleared the underbrush away and made for some good means to get around. There's another rotten chunk, and then this is the stump end where it blew over. Just broke the roots and took it right up. I had another piece that was right here, and I don't know if you can see, there's a bit of a path down in through there where another one was this year. There's another path going back to where I got some last summer. And here's my current project. It started off with this blown down red oak. The bark is just peeling off of it. Up further up the tree, it was already off. These rounds are between 20 and 24 inches across. They're a little too heavy for me to pick up and put into the wheelbarrow to haul out to the end of the path. So I've come in a couple inches, 3-4 inches or more with a chainsaw and cut them into thirds or quarters. This one's got some rot, so I only put it into thirds. But once I get them down into smaller pieces, then I can load them into the wheelbarrow without hurting myself. So part of that's going to be using a splitting wedge, a maul, and a sledgehammer, breaking these up today. Some of these smaller ones, like that one's only probably 16 inches across, so 16 by 16, maybe a little less across, but only gets 2 pieces. And then I've got this yet to cut. Gonna chunk it up. It's small enough I probably won't have to make too much with it. And there's a little more off this one limb here that I can get. As I look around, there are going to be plenty more coming down. Probably by Mother Nature. I've got my hands full with what's already on the ground here. So I probably will not have to drop any of those this year. There's another dead one right there. Got a nice maple in the middle of it. Here's a little ash. I'm getting a start. Maybe it'll make it past the ash borer. We'll see. There's another dead one. There's another dead one. Here's the bottom half of one that was down that side path. So I got that. That piece might be able to come down pretty easy. There's another one, and another, and another. The nice thing about all this red oak that's been standing dead is that once I split it, put it on the rack to dry for about a week, it's under 20%. It looks really wet when it's first split, but it dries quickly because it's not had any sap for years. Here's another one running down this way. And I can't see it right through here, but I know there's two more right back in through all there. They're laying right on top of each other. It's like it split right at the root and grew into two trees, basically. Had two trunks off one root ball. It's back in there. I'll have to find it and clear some brush away. But for now, time to gas up some chainsaws and get the wheelbarrow ready to roll. Here's some of what I've gotten already. This was last weekend. When that gets all split up, that'll be probably about a half a face cord. I found if I fill this trailer with chunks like this, then I can get a full face cord if I heap it up just a little bit. I can't get the splitter back in there. I can't really get the splitter back down into that path. It's just not wide enough. It's too curvy. It's around other trees. And it's not my property, so I can't really open up a big wide path to push a splitter back in there with the truck. I don't have a four-wheeler or something smaller to pull it back in there with. So I have to kind of get them out here, and then I could split here. But for right now, the splitter, it's about 20 miles away from where I'm at, down at the main wood yard. So I brought it up here last summer for several weeks, but I had an easy access that was fairly close to the entrance to the driveway. Here I'm back in behind some horse barns and you know, a little tougher spot to get to. And yeah, I just think it's easier. Load them up, take them down there, split them down there and rack them there. Right now I've got a customer. He wants between 3 and 4 full cords. So that's somewhere between 9 and 12 pickup truck beds full. He's got a F350 dually, and it's got the long bed on it, so he can get like a face cord and a half at a time. And he lives like 3 or 4 miles from the main wood yard, so getting it split and racked down there to measure it out is probably not a bad call. So here's what I was talking about. This is a 16-inch length round. Was a round. I chainsawed down to get the split started, and you can just see how wet this looks. But up here where I'd had the chainsaw in it last week, it's dried out a bit already. So it's wet down at the bottom and already pretty dry up here at the top. So now I've got a metal splitting wedge in there. This is the other half of the one we just looked at. We use the sledgehammer. I think it's 15-pounder. And then I've got a splitting maul. And that's a bit wider than my wedge when you look at the widths of them. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but this last one, I buried the black wedge into it. Then I was able to put the maul down, gave it a good swing right next to it. And then that got stuck in there pretty good, so I could pound it on down with the sledgehammer. And that seemed to do the trick. A little pry and it came right apart. Well, I've got one quartered up already. So I got 4 chunks in the wheelbarrow. And this one is a beast. I've got it most of the way through, and it's cracked up to what was the bottom. Got my maul completely buried, but I'm able to flip it over. I'm gonna go with the wedge and the sledgehammer from here. I had to use the axe to pound the maul and the other wedge in when I had it flipped over. And as a backup, I've got another not so great maul, but it may split. So we'll put a few more wax on this and see what happens. All right. And there's why she didn't want to split. Part of a limb coming down in. That's some tough wood, tough and heavy wood, right around where that limb transects out of the center of this, what was once a log. When I've got these on the splitter, those are so much heavier just because the wood in there is so dense, so tightly packed the grain is around that area right in there. Nice little shot of a bluish beetle in there. Well, fast forward a few minutes. There's 2 less rounds in the pile. And now I've got 6 chunks in the wheelbarrow, which is about a good load. So I'll take it back down the path and out to the trailer. A little bit of empty space left in the trailer, but an hour's worth of splitting with a maul and a sledgehammer and a metal wedge. We've got a fair amount. Well, I'd say I've got a face cord out of the wood. We got a few chunks here and under the wheelbarrow. Once I get ready to take the trailer out, I can get those loaded in. Heat's picking up. Certainly sweated through this t-shirt. Cleaning up a lot of the wood that's fallen over the winter. But made a chunk in it today. I got most of the rounds that were sitting through here all split and quartered. There's a little bit of the top of one limb left here. There's some good wood in there. It's 6 inches across. Fairly easy to get to now. Here's something else that's broke over in half up there. Wonder what kind of wood that is. It's thick back in here with all the undergrowth. The bark almost looks like ash. Let's see any leaves on this. Man, there's another oak right down in here. At least branches that are 6 and 10 inches across. Well, there may be more to look into down this way. Always a surprise around the corner. I'm leaving this crotch piece. Just too heavy, too much work. Just not worth the effort sometimes. Weight, wear and tear on equipment. Sometimes it's easier just to leave those when you've got plenty of other stuff to attack. Had to come across this one from both sides. It's over 20 inches for sure. Didn't really measure it, but probably 22, 24. Time to pick up my saws and finish up making a video. Well, the breeze has quit. There's not a whole lot of air back in here. And I'm soaked. My hat, she's, I don't know, 90% saturated. There's a little bit way up at the top that's not wet. So I guess it was a good day. It was certainly a good workout. And we'll get some good firewood out of this. Hey, thanks for watching, and appreciate